Welcome to the Mojo Market Report. Here's your hosts, Dave Sturchio and Chris Gueci.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Mojo Market Report here on a Thursday as we start week number 8. Believe it or not, we're here. It is Dave Sturchio, it is Chris Gueci, and of course A5 Anthony behind the glass from Chop Studios. We got ourselves a very fun show today. Obviously, we're getting to Thursday Night Football at the end of our show because we finally have an intriguing matchup, you would say. All the matchups that have come up, we've all downplayed them and how bad they're going to be and how bad the football teams are. But you got Tom Brady coming off an ugly loss. You got Lamar Jackson trying to earn himself a payday. So we'll get into all that on guys you should invest in tonight, especially because there are multipliers available. When you get those emails, you don't even have to wait for the emails right now. Go on the app right now and go check out which multipliers are available for which players. But before we get there, we want to do something that I kind of poached from the Mojo social media over on the Twitter. I saw a lot of debate, and I think there was a Instagram reel about it too with Sporty Jordy. And I saw that they were debating between positions of guys you would invest in right now. Who would you rather, right? So we're going to play a little game called This Guy or That Guy. So because we've done this before in some regard of saying like, buy, sell, or hold, or whatever we were doing pass, cash, or dash, or something to that effect.
Yeah, it was buy, sell, hold.
No, it was something cash.
Long, short, or...
Whatever the case may be.
Way.
Either way, today we're playing This Guy or That Guy. So they started with the conversation, and we'll start the conversation right now with Daniel Jones or Zach Wilson. So obviously both quarterbacks of New York, the New York football teams, New Jersey, are playing well. The Giants are sitting at 6-1. The Jets are sitting at 5-2. Both are playing very, very good football, complimentary football, both sides of the ball. But when it comes to the Mojo Market, Chris, you don't know any of my selections here. So I did want to spark this on you. I wanted to, at least we know the guys we're going to be debating, but we don't know which guy we would invest in. You already took $1,000 of my money, and smart investments.
We're doing well.
We're doing well. We are doing well. So now you're not taking any of my money. Now this is your money. When it comes to Daniel Jones or Zach Wilson, right now, the bank value is clear that it's not much for Zach Wilson, clearly because of the fact that he's only played 1 year, got injured again this year. So the experience factor has to go to DJ. Now, I'm allowed to call him DJ, by the way. I've talked good about him for weeks now, so I might as well get him on a nickname basis. But when it comes to these guys, their share prices are very similar. And believe it or not, Zach Wilson is higher. Why? I would say expectations. I would say basically the projections are showing that he's younger. He's got, a little bit more talent as far as the intangibles, I think. But if I'm looking at right now, season stats and everything aside, this is their last 24 hours. So the movement is clear that Zach Wilson trending down a little bit, Daniel Jones staying pat at where he's at. Now, if you're looking for year-long stats, Daniel Jones is throwing for 1,200 yards. Zach Wilson only 693. Again, he was hurt for a couple games. Daniel Jones, 6 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. The rushing attempts is what differentiates the two of these guys, where Daniel Jones has decided, I'm going to play Josh Allen 2.0 and try to use his legs. So I ask you, Chris, who are you investing in right now and why?
This is a tough one, but as I broke it down, I can't find any reason why I would invest in a Zach Wilson right now over a Daniel Jones. I think Zach Wilson has decent long-term value going forward, but I think there's gonna be a little bit of regression. Not much for Zach Wilson because he hasn't done much, but for the Jets offense in general. They just lost Elijah Vera Tucker for the season, and they just lost Breece Hall for the season. So it's a new look Jets offense. We're not gonna know what they're all about. And their offensive line has been gelling a little bit, playing better as of late. That's gonna take a massive hit. And I also think that because Daniel Jones is in his contract year and he's playing well, you got to imagine that if you look at the NFC right now, the Giants really, really have to have an epic collapse. And I know it's possible, but they would have to have an epic collapse not to be in playoff contention. A few wins down the stretch, and this Giant team, you got to think, if they lose 5 in a row right now, they're 500 in the playoff hunt still at 6-6. So the Giants they're in a good spot.
They set themselves up, yeah.
If Daniel Jones gets that second contract, you're going to see a massive spike in his projected value going forward, his Mojo Market projection, I should say. And for that reason, I think there's going to be a significant uptick in a Daniel Jones way sooner than you might see for a Zach Wilson.
I agree.
I think Zach Wilson down the line could be in a very similar position that Daniel Jones is in now, where
Fifth-year option.
Fifth-year option. Maybe when we're talking about Zach Wilson contract time, we could reassess the Zach Wilson situation. But right now, I need to see a little bit more.
And you got to see what the Jets do in the next couple of years.
Daniel Jones, at the same time, because he has the bank value and he's lower, he's less risky. It's to me, it's a no-brainer. It's Daniel Jones, and I'm not even that high on Daniel Jones. I talked so bad about him last week. But when we're talking about Mojo Market and which one I think is going to move up sooner and more, it's definitely Daniel Jones.
I happen to agree with you. So we're 1 for 1. Daniel Jones, to me, has himself in a better situation right now. Now, I know the receivers over there are less talented than the ones in with the Jets, right? So that's fine. He's made do with less, right? And he's got a Saquon Barkley, whereas, it's the Michael Carter show now, and now they traded for James Robinson, right? So things are going to look different. But the main reason why, and this is not a knock on either coach, but let's be honest. Brian Daboll is an offensive-minded coach. He's helped Josh Allen grow. When you look at Robert Saleh, he's a defensive-minded coach. He's kind of like the reins are off. Yes, he's responsible for the head coach.
I will say this. Mike LaFleur is the OC.
That's your boy's
for the Jets, and
brother.
I think he's doing a wonderful job.
He is doing a wonderful job. But to me, coaching matters big time. That's why I'm going with Daniel Jones here. I think, like you just said, once he gets that contract, things are going to pick up. I can predict right now that, I know it's a $5 difference, about a $5 difference right now. Before the end of this season, I think we might see a little even out there. I know it's a massive spike, but if the Giants keep playing the way they're playing, I don't see why that wouldn't happen.
It's not. I mean, when we're talking about a massive spike and them being even, I think Daniel Jones might pass him soon because
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I think the Giants are in a really good spot to win some more football games. Look at their upcoming schedule.
Yeah.
The Jets, I wouldn't say that they're not in a good spot, but they do still have Buffalo twice.
Yes.
Right? So that's not a good sign.
Patriots coming up this Sunday.
The Patriots coming up this Sunday, which I know the Patriots that's a tough spot for the Jets right now. I'm telling you, that's going to be a tough game for the Mac Jones is starting, by the way. Did you see that news?
We'll see how it goes.
We'll see. No, it's official.
No, we'll see how it goes.
I got the update.
Listen, I got the update too. And then he had a press conference. He says, we'll see how it goes.
Of course.
so
anyway,
close to the vest, Bill.
Where
I get
were
it, man.
we? Oh, yeah. Where were we?
Daniel Jones and Zach Wilson. So we both conceded and agreed that it's Daniel Jones, right?
Yes, it's cool. Daniel Jones. That was funny. I did really actually forget where we were.
It's only Thursday. All right, moving on. Same team, right? Same comparison. We're talking about Zach Wilson. We're talking about Daniel Jones. Now we're talking about Wan'Dale Robinson. We're talking about Elijah Moore. Now, clearly the news has been surrounding with Elijah Moore lately. So that's no bueno on the news because of the fact that he, it boggles my mind. The Jets go 4-2 and he's disgruntled. It's like, if you're 0-6 and you're not getting the ball, I could see, come on, but this, geez, enough.
As we're talking about this, I think that there's something to be said about Zach Wilson in this situation. I think that there's more or less.
But they had such a rapport last year.
My guy, the prop beaver, AJ Bascone, he gave me a bit of information. He's a Jets fan and he's a major into the handicapping and things like that. He said 80% of Zach Wilson's passes are to the right. 80%. That's a lot.
Interesting.
Right? So 80% of his targets are to the right. And guess where Elijah Moore's been lining up?
The left.
The left. So it's not that.
By the way, there's only two sides.
I don't think it's a coaching thing. I think it's a quarterback thing.
All right. So is that the reason why you're in on Wan'Dale over Elijah? Elijah Moore.
I think I have to be because I think there's room for growth for the same reason, but almost on the flip side of it, where Elijah Moore is the better talent, and he's supposed to be in a better situation because he's a better talent across the number. I wouldn't say a true number one, but Garrett Wilson's on his way to being a legitimate receiver in this league. So they have some weapons over there in New York. The Giants receivers right now, they're just dying for somebody to step up. And this kid's been hurt, correct?
Wan'Dale, yeah.
Yeah, he's been in and out of the lineup. So they're looking for somebody to step up. And why not Wan'Dale? I think that the Giants, it's a safe position for him because he's a slot receiver. So, Daniel Jones doesn't like to air it out. I think it's a good spot, and I like Wan'Dale in this spot.
$5 cheaper.
I see a regression for the Jets offense. That's the thing.
Okay.
I'm not in on almost any Jet except Michael
Not
Carter.
good because 3 weeks ago we're like, I'm in on every Jet.
Things change. It's the NFL.
And
the offensive line, really, that's the main thing.
When you
losing Breece Hall is fine. It's the offensive line is really tough.
I wholeheartedly agree. There's been so many seasons where nothing functions without an offensive line. If you take a look at their 24-hour numbers with these guys, Obviously, Wan'Dale on the uptick because of the fact that, yes, he's healthy, and B, there's nobody else. Like, he's really the only guy. Elijah Moore on the uptick as well because of the fact that he's back with the team. He's practicing with the team. So if you're making an investment right now, Chris, we're 2 for 2. I'm going Wan'Dale Robinson here because of the fact that, again, coaching matters. I feel like the Moore situation, there's a little bit more to that. No pun. I guess there's a pun there. But it's alarming to me that a player would step out like that and complain like that. And look, I'm not questioning the guy's character at all. I'm just saying that it's not a good situation, not a good look. So I'm in on Wan'Dale. Personality traits aside, I think Wan'Dale Robinson has himself a better quarterback, a better offensive game plan, and somebody that will get him the ball. All right, we'll get him the ball. Once healthy, Wan'Dale Robinson might take off. All right, so now we chose our own. Yeah, those 2 debates were on the Mojo social medias. So now we went off and chose one position. One battle per position.
Yeah, there you go.
You like that? Nice little recovery there. So we start at the head, right? The quarterbacks. 2 guys that we're really, really excited about, and that's Lamar Jackson, who's, by the way, playing tonight, and Jalen Hurts. Now, I've made most of my money so far because of my multipliers on Jalen Hurts. He's had himself a heck of a season. He's going, he's 123 for 184. That's a very good completion percentage. 66.8. That's not bad. 1,500 yards, 6 touchdowns, 2 picks. On the ground, he's almost got 300 yards rushing. Okay? So you're like, oh, wow, what a runner, right? But then you think about, all right, well, Lamar Jackson is writing the book on running quarterbacks. Lamar's got $500,000 going. He's got 500 yards on the ground, 1,300 through the air, 13 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. I'll leave this one up to you first. I think there might be our first discrepancy here. But who are you investing in long-term right now, Jalen Hurts or Lamar Jackson?
Now, I think Lamar Jackson is in a tougher spot in terms of like his ability to put up numbers right now. I think Philly is clearly going to just roll this season on offense. They're going
to go 10-0.
They might even make the move for Kareem Hunt. They're talking about.
Oh God,
Philly is in on almost every decent player, let alone star player.
They just traded for Robert Quinn yesterday.
So Philly is all in. And I think there could be even more opportunity for Jalen Hurts for this season. I think this season-wise, I have to say Jalen Hurts is definitely going to see more banked value in his Mojo portfolio or in his share price. But I do think Lamar is going to get a massive deal after this season. And when we're talking about a massive deal,
security,
guaranteed money, security, I think that is what we got to talk about here with Lamar. And for that reason, I'm picking Lamar, that reason only. Because of the contract is definitely imminent. Both these players are star caliber players. Lamar's got an MVP under his belt. Jalen Hurts might very well win MVP this season. You know, Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes, Jalen Hurts. I think it's a 3-way race.
Micah Parsons, yeah.
Settle down.
Listen, this is our first discrepancy. I said Jalen Hurts because of the fact that there's a future in flux right now with Lamar Jackson. Everybody and their mother is saying he's going to get including his mother, who might be his agent.
Well, here's the thing. The only thing that could, I guess, hurt that would be a franchise tag, but I don't think Lamar is going to play under that. That could hurt. You're right. So there is a little bit.
That's what I'm saying. So let the season play out. It's like either this. It's like let the season play out, or know what you have right now. And I know what I have right now in Jalen Hurts, and he's absolutely balling right now. So that kid is a star in this league. He's got the weapons. He's got the front office that continue to add weapons, both sides of the ball. The Eagles are in on it. It makes me utterly sick to even say that.
It's a tough one, though.
It is. That is probably the toughest one.
I think Lamar getting the contract is the main reason, but it's really hard. I think Jalen, this is a toss-up. I probably would invest in both of these players, but I'm not looking to invest long-term on Lamar. I'm just looking to invest until he gets his deal. And I do think that Baltimore. I think Baltimore is going to pay him, though. I mean, how could they not? And if they don't pay him,
you would think
they don't pay him, they will cause a media firestorm if they franchise tag Lamar and he's unhappy about it.
Yeah, and if you look at their 24 hours, just to give you an idea as to where they're going here, the share prices are what they are. It's a $17 upswing for Lamar Jackson. So the bargain you're getting is Jalen Hurts. But they're both in the green. They're both doing well, and they're both MVP caliber players. So this is a tougher one to debate, but I think ultimately you're going with Lamar because of the contract. I'm going with Jalen because of the contract. It's kind of funny how we both cited that as our reasons. I think Lamar's
going to get paid or traded. I don't think he's going to have to play under the franchise tag.
Damn. Yesterday or 2 days ago, you're saying Jacobs getting traded, now Lamar's getting traded?
Well, yeah, the quarterbacks get traded.
Can you imagine if one of these things actually hit?
If they don't want to pay him the guaranteed money and it's going to cause more issues to to franchise tag him because he says I'm not going to play. And
They got
he's
to tag
adamant
him, then
about it.
trade him. They can't just trade him as a free agent.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how it works. It's the
Thanks,
rules.
buddy.
Hey, no
I
problem.
appreciate it.
I'm here for you. All right, moving on to the wide receivers. This one's interesting. We decided to come up with Michael Pittman Jr. of the Indianapolis Colts or newly trillionaire Christian Kirk of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, when you look at these guys, they're in completely different situations. However, same division. Right now, the targets, very similar. Pittman, 61. Kirk, 54. The receptions, not so similar. 12. Michael Pittman's got 12 more. The yards, he's got about 50 more. But Kirk has seen pay dirt 4 times. The situations are completely different because of the quarterback situation. We just talked about a quarterback situation for the other receivers when we were talking about Moore and Wan'Dale Robinson. I talk about this as being Sam Ehlinger's first start coming up, or obviously Sunshine over there, Trevor Lawrence, right? So who are you investing in and why? This guy or that guy? I haven't said that yet. This is the segment name.
This is another hard one. I did a really good job picking these guys out to.
Yeah, you made it really, really difficult on a Thursday morning.
Really
appreciate you.
Really, I'm a little hesitant going in on Kirk because he just got the deal, right? So there isn't going to be an uptick. He reset the bar in terms of his market projections. I think. I'm not sure, but I think Michael Pittman is still on his rookie deal, and I think he's working for a contract.
Yeah, he's only in his 3rd year, so yeah.
So, yeah, Michael Pittman is working for some money. Christian Kirk already got there. Christian Kirk already has a little bit more banked value, but that Jaguars offense, I know that they had a rough go of it last year with the Urban Meyer debacle, but outside of a couple games this season, they really haven't shown me much either. They got held to no touchdowns at home against the Texans. Christian Kirk, he's been a part of all those games, at least the ones this season. You ready for this stat?
Sure.
I think it's the Jaguars are 1-11 in games. It might not be the exact number. This is a stat that I saw on social media yesterday. 1-11 in games where the defense did not hold the opponent under 11 points. So under Trevor Lawrence, they just don't win
So you got to
games.
score 13, you win?
Yeah, like 12 is the magic number when you play the Jaguars.
Wow.
When I
Okay.
hear stats like that, I'm hesitant to get in on any offensive player from that team. Michael Pittman on the other side, they're just doing nothing offensively. He is their only guy outside of Jonathan Taylor. I do like Alec Pierce, but we
Pierce
have
is your guy.
I know, but the Colts offense is
They're-
really bad.
they're puttering out, yeah.
It's an abomination right now. Sam Ehlinger, I mean, he might come in and make some plays in a Taylor Heineke fashion, but he's not gonna take the league by storm. I don't anticipate that happening. But I'm still going to go with Pittman because of the same deal. Like, I think the contract is imminent, and I like the size. He's 6'5". He's a big target. I think he's going to fit in well no matter where he goes for the coming years. And I think Indianapolis is probably going to pay him a nice contract after this season. So I'm going to go with Pittman.
I'm all about the guy who has the consistency right now, and right now Trevor Lawrence is better than anything the Colts are throwing out there, including when Matt Ryan was out there. I'm going to go with Christian Kirk here for that reason. He did get paid, so it's typically like the MO is like, oh, I got paid, so now he's not going to try as hard and stuff like that. But the Jaguars are on the come up, man, and we'll talk about another position player right after this with this team, and I think that for that reason, the coaching too, Frank Reich seems to be in a little bit of disarray right now, and again, they're going to feed Pittman. He's going to get a lot of balls thrown his way by Sam, who's going to be looking for the underneath the quick stuff because he's not going to know what to do with it, right? And he's actually a mobile quarterback too, so you can actually kind of see him on the run. But for consistency basis, and if you look at their 24-hour numbers right now, the way I see it is Christian Kirk, you buy the dip. You know what I mean? Like, he's not looking as good and prominent as a Michael Pittman Jr. Their price is literally identical. One guy moved 1 cent, the other guy moved another cent. So it's like up one, up down. So I'm all in right now on Christian Kirk over Michael Pittman Jr. However, big fan of Michael Pittman Jr. going forward. I just think the consistency isn't there yet for Pittman for me to invest.
This is going to be a funny one.
Yeah, this one's good. Because we've talked about both of these guys at length within the last couple of weeks, just because of their usage and what they've done, and they're technically both rookies. Travis Etienne, he missed his entire season last year. He's going head to head in this debate, this guy or that guy, with a Kenneth Walker III. Now, Kenneth Walker III is taking the league by storm a little bit. If you're in fantasy, yeah, he might win you a league because he's just getting a lot of volume over there in Seattle. And Pete Carroll loves to run the football. 67 rushes to Travis Etienne, 68. So the volume is absolutely right there. Ready for this? Kenneth Walker, 410. Etienne, 415. So it is neck and neck. The difference, Kenneth Walker has seen the end zone 4 times as Etienne only sees it once. I'll leave it to you right now. Settle this debate. Who am I investing in long term?
This is a very good one. I wonder who did these. Oh, so Kenneth Walker, he's got a lot of yards this season, and it's all come in the last 2.5 games. He's been killing it. The usage is really good getting handoffs, but he's not getting many receptions. And I think that he already kind of realized his market value. I shouldn't say it that way, meaning his floor is set, essentially.
They both are.
Or the expectations are set. Because when you come into the league, you have a certain expectation, and then depending on your play, it either rises or falls, and the new bar is set. Right now, Kenneth Walker reset his bar. Travis Etienne is still lower than the price that he entered the league at.
That's
right?
interesting.
That's it. To me, I feel like there's still room for growth. The market hasn't caught on just quite yet.
And he's like the guy now.
James Robinson was just traded, and he was held out of a game. So it was like they clearly see Travis Etienne as the guy going forward. And the thing that jumps out to me the most is the 23 targets, 14 catches to the 10 targets and 8 receptions for Kenneth Walker. Travis Etienne is a little bit more of a complete back, and I think for that reason he stays on the field sometimes on third down. Right now, the Jaguars really believe in Etienne. He looks fully cleaned up and removed from that knee injury that he suffered a year ago. Bounced back really fast from that because you've seen guys like Saquon take a couple years to really get their footing together. Travis Etienne, I know I just said I would have a hard time investing in any Jaguar based on those stats that I just saw.
Just rewind.
But I'm going to put egg on my own face on this one, and I'm definitely going to pick Travis Etienne here, not because I don't buy in on Kenneth Walker III, because I think he's he's a stud, right? Breece Hall, kind of like the NFL running backs this year, it's like the receivers were last year.
He's the odds-on favorite to win Rookie of the Year. Right now.
Yeah, Travis Etienne might have something to say about that in a couple weeks. And they're both going to be guys that you want to keep your eye on going forward. At the end of this season, going into next year, they're both going to be first-round draft picks in fantasy football, all those things. So I would say invest in both of them now. But if you had to pick one, Travis Etienne, because the pass-catching ability and the fact that he's still not even at the value that he entered the league at. To me, I think that's a steal of it's just like that's crazy to me. Get in on Travis Etienne now.
Okay. The reason why I'm taking Kenneth Walker III here is because of the following. When I look at both teams as a whole, I see Doug Peterson as the coach of the Jaguars, very pass-heavy, quarterback-driven, throw the ball a lot. While I know the targets and the rushing attempt is very similar, I think that they'll focus more on the passing game going forward and leave it up to the Jaguars to probably draft another running back next year. Every year they seem to be drafting more running backs, which makes it a crowded room. Now you look at Kenneth Walker III, he gets his opportunity because Rashad Penny, we knew who Rashad Penny was coming into the season. Almost like a stopgap. We all knew Kenneth Walker was going to be the guy eventually. It just so happened to have happened earlier, right? But now you look at the rest of that room. DJ Dallas, I think Homer is still there. Like it is crowded, but they're better quality backs to give Kenneth Walker the blows that he's going to need going forward. Where if you look at the Jacksonville Jaguars, if Etienne is the guy, is he the only guy? I mean, yes, there's probably a depth chart, and I'm sure there's plenty of running backs behind him. But what I think is the running back rooms is why I'm going with Kenneth Walker. I think they takes the load off of Kenneth Walker, and the boom splash plays that Kenneth Walker that could provide is because of the fresh legs. That's the only reason why I'll say that.
I'm curious to know. That's actually, you bring up a good point.
I do that just sometimes.
I'm interested to know who the new backup running back is in Jacksonville. I didn't look at their depth chart there.
I'll pull it up for you. Keep talking.
Really, James Robinson, he had they didn't really have to pay him too much money. They didn't get much value back in the trade. Usually when that happens, it's because they have somebody that they really believe in that is
behind
a little bit lesser behind them.
Right.
Yeah, so there's a chance that there's some talent in the Jacksonville backfield that we're not aware of.
Oh yeah, we have a familiar face that everybody knows. It's JaMychal Hasty from the 49ers.
Okay.
So I mean, like, we know who that guy is, and behind him is Snoop Connor.
So Snoop Connor is the guy that we're probably looking at here because we know what JaMychal Hasty is.
Gotta love. I mean, Snoop. That's great. Anyway, let's move on to our final one, and that is Dalton Schultz and Pat Freiermuth. Wow, can I do this today? Pat Freiermuth of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, Dalton Schultz is my guy, right? I'm a Cowboy guy. Everybody knows that. It's pretty apparent. I'll just start off by saying I'm not picking Dalton Schultz because of the fact of this. Freiermuth, in Pittsburgh fashion, for years, every time, what was his name?
Heath Miller.
Heath Miller. Every time Heath Miller got the ball, Heath, right? The entire crowd. They invest in one tight end for the rest of their lives until he's expired. So that's why I think Freiermuth is the next guy, because they do the move every time he gets the ball.
That's Heath. They still do.
No, they still do. They're just trying to change it. I've been listening to.
It's hilarious.
It's great because actually no, it was everybody before they got Freiermuth. No matter who caught the ball as a tight end on the Steelers, they were Heath. I'm like, that is amazing, great on the Pittsburgh fan base. But what I will say is Muth is the new guy. Dalton Schultz right now on a franchise tag, and he just so happens to be in a very crowded room with the tight ends. They got Jake Ferguson making moves the other day. We got Peyton Hendershot catches Dak Prescott's first touchdown of 2022. You got my guy Sean McEwen, friend of mine. You know, like I'm looking at these guys where the rooms are deep in Dallas. The expendability, meaning Schultz might not be back, and the future's in flux. Muth is going to have a statue made for him before he's out of there. So that's why I'm all in on Freiermuth.
I don't think Dallas wants to get rid of Dalton Schultz.
No, I don't think so either.
But if you look at their finances a little bit, I think that they're not really going to have
They must have a
choice.
bad contract or two.
They probably have a bad contract or two, but they're not going to have a choice. If they keep Dalton Schultz around, they're going to have to move things around, and it's going to affect them. I just don't think he's that player. He's not a needle mover where you're going to adjust your future plans for a Dalton Schultz. You're right. Pat Freiermuth is going to be the Steelers' tight end for the next 12 years. Right? There's no question about it. He's going to have his 65 catches. He's going to be a red zone target. He'll end up having a career year somewhere in there down the line. But he's going to be very consistent. And when the contract time comes up for Pat Freiermuth, there's not going to be a franchise tag.
And you can see in the 24
hours. It's
hours.
going to be a paid contract right away.
The 24 hours right now, Dalton Schultz obviously down because of the fact of everything I just said. And look, he's been banged up. He's got a PCL thing going on. Freiermuth on the uptick with a young quarterback who, again, the jury's not... it's still out on Kenny Pickett. Dak Prescott, we know he likes to throw it to the tight end. We know that his relationship with Dalton Schultz is good. But again,
we just don't know how long he's going to be.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a little bit more of an influx thing. So
I think Dak
and
will
I feel
take
bad
less.
actually. I would say I feel bad for the actual next tight end of the Steelers, whoever that is, because you're now Muth no matter what. It could be Smith and he'll be Muth every time. All right. We have one game to talk about real quick, and it is Thursday Night Football, ladies and gentlemen. And that is between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and, of course, the Baltimore Ravens. Now, when you look at both of these teams, you're finally getting a good matchup. You're looking at it like, ooh, this is fun. You know, like this might be a good matchup. Maybe, sort of. It's been tough sledding for Tom Brady, man.
It's funny because on paper, you look at the team names, and if this was week 0, we'd be like, wow, this is going to be an insane matchup on a Thursday night. But really, both these teams are kind of sputtering right now.
Baltimore won last week. Tampa Bay is, yes,
Baltimore won, but really they got help from the refs at the end, and they almost lost to Cleveland.
True story.
Very close to losing that game.
Who are you watching? Who are you watching in this game? Who are you watching for?
I mean, we're
not watching a game.
I mean, definitely not Tom Brady. I talked about Lamar, and I think he's going to get his contract. But when we talk about the games, we're talking about how it's going to go down tonight. I think that Tampa Bay has to be committed to running the football, so Fournette should see a lot of carries in this.
There's a little bit of a spike in his Rashad White, you know. So
I know if we were talking about long term, I would be like, yeah, Rashad White.
Rashad White took a lot of carries away from Leonard Fournette last week, and I know that Tampa Bay, it was hard for them to get going.
His role is increasing week by week, and I actually just got an update from one of my fantasy apps that, you know, he's going to see an uptick again this week. He should see more, but I also saw that an article talking about how Fournette's going to get more touches. So that means to me
there's only so many touches to go around.
They're going to be committed to running the football. Tampa Bay's had issues on their offensive line. The best way to fix an offensive line problem is to say, hey, guys, we're going to run the ball, let you guys have some fun today.
Come on, big boys.
Offensive linemen love running the ball.
Do your thing.
Baltimore's defense has been shaky this season at best. You would think that they're good at stopping the run. They're not really good at stopping the run. Their pass defense has been abysmal, but they've had injuries. They're starting to get a little healthy. I expect this game to not be too much offense, honestly.
Wait. You take the under on a Thursday night?
I know, crazy.
Get out of here.
Tampa Bay's defense, I think, is against Lamar Jackson is the great matchup because the speed of the linebackers and Lamar Jackson, we all know he talked about his 500 yards. So that's the matchup I'm looking for most. Don't expect anything from the Baltimore Ravens backfield. I don't expect anything out of maybe a Mark Andrews.
You're not in on a Kenyon Drake? Go?
I'm absolutely not against Tampa Bay. Look, Tampa right now.
Justice Hill action.
Everybody's essentially writing Tom Brady.
Gus Bus. What about Gus Bus?
And Tampa Bay off, right? And rightfully so. They haven't played well. But look where they're at in their division. Tampa Bay is going to win that division. There's no question about it. They're what are they, 3-4?
Yeah.
3-4 with the Saints, the Falcons, and the Panthers. So Tampa Bay is going to be in it. This is a huge game for them. Huge game. Actually, a huge game for both teams, but I like
Tampa Bay needs it more, I think.
I think Tampa needs it a little bit more, and I think that their defense is the best unit on the field. So I expect not much offense. And if I'm going to invest in anybody, I think it's going to be Leonard Fournette.
All right. I am in on a Chris Godwin. I'm not sold on the secondary of the Baltimore Ravens. Give me a big Chris Godwin night. I got a feeling there. And Tom Brady, look, nobody wants to prove everybody wrong more than Tom Brady. So just keep your eyes on Tom Brady in prime time. The lights are on. Guy's going to ball out. It's Tom Brady after all. How many weeks in a row could we say, like, ooh, that doesn't look good?
And if you've been listening the past couple shows, then you would know that if I said to invest in Leonard Fournette, then you should probably also handcuff that and invest in Rashad White, because we talked about his uptick in usage over the last couple games. So he has standalone value as it is. And if Leonard Fournette gets hurt, we all know who the guy is going to be in Tampa Bay. And it actually might be of a benefit. And also, I think Fournette's in his contract year. He only signed a 1 year.
1 year, I believe so. Yeah, so that'll be interesting.
Rashad White might be the
Get
starter
in on
Tampa
that.
next
So
year.
we want to thank you guys for joining us here on a Thursday, and we hope that you enjoyed the football. Obviously, there's many, many ways you can be following Mojo right now. You can head on over to mojo.com. Go follow us there. Obviously, every day their blogging is incredible. In-depth analysis, you'll see right here on my trusty dusty little computer. That is mojo.com, what it looks like. And then, of course, follow us on social media, where you can hit us up at Mojo on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Also, join the Discord. I know there's going to be heavy debate tonight, heavy discussion tonight on guys you might be going long on, who you're shorting tonight. So all that discussion is over there on the Discord. And, of course, if you sign up now, they're going to give you a little something to get you started. So get on over there and do it. So for Dave Sturchio and, of course, Chris Gueci, this has been another episode of the Mojo Market Report. We'll see you guys back here on a Football Friday. It's time to choose some games to talk about. I'm excited. Week 8, baby. Let's do it. He hit the confetti. Oh, boy. Talk to you guys tomorrow.